Obviously you guys get the extra couple days of rest, kind of your first one game week in a while. What's kind of the approach to that in the sense of how you can maybe use it to get players some extra rest, physically, mentally, and try and just be as healthy as you can going into, one of the bigger games of the season.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like, I think it's big in the sense of we were home on Saturday, so it's just such a true off day on Sunday. There was no travel, there was no stress. They could just sleep in as long as they wanted. We're taking another day off today, and that's unusual. You usually can't do that. So it's just really true, two very true off days. And in fact, we finished probably weights yesterday at 9:30, and they're off until in the morning at 7 or 7:15 or 7:30. So almost actually 2 days off in that the stretch if you look at it like that. So just feels like a real needed time for us to get a break. I mean, we were running on fumes. I think La got sick as a dog. We haven't seen her all week. She's been sick, and I think is finally coming back to life a little bit. And maybe we'll see her at practice tomorrow. But just wanting people to stay healthy and as much as we can, and be in it for a long haul on this last stretch that we have.
Any concern that LA won't be ready to go Saturday, or no worries about that?
She's going to be full go and maybe more rested than anybody. So I think she was a little sick on Saturday. I mean, I kept looking at her going, man, she just looks, and obviously you just think it's whatever it was, 5 games in 9 days stretch or whatever that was. And I think she was really coming down with whatever's going around on that day. So it's perfect time as far as to someone to get sick, I guess.
Kind of on that same note, do you think you'll have Alex for Saturday, or is she still a couple weeks out?
Yeah, she's a couple of weeks out. I mean, we obviously have more information on her foot, and just very typical of a little bit overuse and little stress, and it's good news in the sense that I don't think it's long term, but it's definitely she's out a couple of weeks for us, and hopefully we get her back by the end of the season.
How does that maybe change the way you guys approach Yvonne Ejim, obviously, as Gonzaga's best player and one of the best players in the country? How do you kind of turn to Candace and to Deanna and kind of say, okay, this is your assignment. It's not easy, but maybe without having Alex's natural length, how do you kind of approach defending a player like her?
Well, honestly, Tara guarded her mostly in the first game, and really happy with Tara's defense on her. It's such a team defense. I mean, you have to guard her with multiple people. I think Candace is up for the challenge. I think we're going to try to match their physicality, which I don't think we did the first game. Candace is up for it. I think Dee is up for it. With their Candace is a little, Candace is maybe a little more body and pushy, but and the others are a little bit more athletic and maybe loose and get around. But they're more than just Ejim, but certainly she is a driving force for not just her scoring, but her keeping balls alive and her just leadership and her relentless pursuit of the ball. I mean, she just makes everybody play so hard on that team. So she's a big factor for them, and we're going to need to throw a lot of different bodies at her.
In the last 8 games, Tara's only taken 10 or more shots twice, as opposed to maybe early in the year when it was just about every game. How is that kind of something you guys have tried to do a little bit by design? Is have her defer a little bit more, or is that just kind of the natural flow of the offense of that teams are taking her away a little bit more and she's not forcing her shot?
Yeah. I mean, I think we got a little more post oriented about that time. And I think Alex and that 5 spot, Candace probably got more shots than they had earlier in the season. So that probably takes a few away from her. I think I can go back to Santa Clara, the game that we played here, and Tara didn't have a great game, and she was really upset with her shot selection. And we didn't even have to talk to her about it. She just hated the shot selection. So she's really been focused on not forcing things and not taking bad shots. And because of that, I think she's created a ton more assist opportunities, and shot selection has become better for our entire team. Yes, we need her to score, need her to post up a little bit more, need her to get some easy baskets in different spots, but love her confidence and love her, she's shooting behind screens now and making threes. She's doing it off the bounce. Clearly she's got some back to the basket. So I just think she's playing pretty phenomenal right now.
How have you kind of seen Kira's game develop in the sense where, teams are now having to put her on their scout and maybe even high up on their scout just in terms of how well she can knock down the three?
Yeah, I mean, Kira is instant offense, and if she is, she's going to get a lot of minutes. I mean, I wouldn't say she's instant defense. She's still got some work to do there, but if she's on, it's such a boost. It's such a boost, and she has got a beautiful shot, and we want her to take those, just like a few of our kids on our team. Like, talk about just a green light. We want her to take quality open shots, not the hard ones, and I think she has some confidence now. She knows she's going to get opportunities to play. Mistakes on the defensive end for the most part are young players and players that are, going to give up a lot of points. They're going to come out with faster than, some of the more experienced players that we have, and that's just the facts. So she's got to be solid on the defensive end and the scout. That's the biggest thing for most of our young players is just know the scout, make sure you're guarding the right way, and don't give up easy baskets that we don't want to give up against a team. So she's been a little bit, hot and cold on that. But she's getting better on that too. Her focus is better, her wanting to take the challenge of guarding certain players on the floor. But again, it all comes down to her shot making ability, and we really need that right now and want her to continue to grow her confidence and be ready to do that for us.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Greg Lee. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We got
Hey,
you.
Kamie, can you hear me? Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. The funny thing about the WCC schedule is it seems to be fair or balanced. First time a month ago when you played Gonzaga, you played St. Mary's on Thursday and came back 2 days later. This week they play St. Mary's on Thursday and play you on Saturday. Having been through that, what sort of does that give you an advantage this week?
Well, I mean, I like to think so. I think a little rest for us, and again, we're February and we're just now getting that bye. So I'm going to appreciate that. I think now having that bye now is probably okay. It was, so it all comes back around. How you handle it is what happens. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how our kids will respond. We've just won a couple of games. Are we going to get, satisfied with where we are? Are we going to be hungry? I felt like the first time we played Gonzaga, they were hungry. They were just vicious and came in here and took the game to us. I thought the first half they just kind of manhandled us. I know the fourth quarter they broke away from us, but we had a lot of quality shots in that quarter that didn't go down. They made some phenomenal shots. I think it was a well played game, but they were just a tougher team for the most part that game. And do I want us to be that? Yes. Do I think it's going to be difficult in their environment? Yes. But I hope we've grown, and I hope we're ready to compete because I know Gonzaga will be.
That's the thing you said after that game that you used the word savage, and I know you meant that in a complimentary way, not not in a negative way, but you were really impressed with how hard and physical they were.
I don't really know a negative way to view savage as a basketball. Okay. They're not dirty, they're just savage. Yeah, and I think it's I think when you get to the higher elite players, you get savage. You get people that don't care how they want to beat you. They want to beat you so bad, and they don't care about you in any way. And they're unapologetic for how hard they're going to play. They're going to play through you, and that's what the game rewards. That it absolutely rewards that. And we got nice kids, and I think their kids are nice too. But we got nice kids that sometimes don't want to get that brutal or that on edge, or we say it all different ways. There's a fight's going to go on. There's going to be a fight on Saturday, and it's just a matter: are you going to join in, or are you just going to be the punching bag? And I mean that in a really positive way. You just know what you're going to get from Gonzaga, and we have to match that. And I hope as we continue to grow as a program and these young players, we're growing that in our team so that people are talking about those things in us. It's not an easy thing to have. I think Ejim is an example of just she's grown that, and she is that, and she leads that team in that capacity. And I think we're we're teaching our young players a little bit about that, and they've got to grow into that really fast.
You know, you've got obviously at Gonzaga Saturday, then you have, I believe, at Oregon State left on your schedule. Talk about, you know, in terms of the seeding, and we know what the first two seeds mean. It means a bye into the semifinals. How big is this remaining stretch for you?
Well, we've played Oregon State. I think we go to Portland, and so clearly they're ahead of us. And you
That's
know,
what I meant, Portland. Yeah.
so yeah, two of the top teams. Um, you know, it's tough. It's tough, and they both beat us. They're both, you know, I just think have kind of separated themselves a little bit from the rest of us. I think we have our moments, but I don't think we're that scary. I think they've just proven themselves a little bit. So it's a great challenge for us. I mean, can we play with Gonzaga on their home court? Can we go into an environment and not be affected or not be intimidated? Can we do that at Portland? Again, just hopefully all the training and all the games and all the preparation and this, you know, 4 months of doing this thing, that we're getting better still and have a chance to walk into those environments and compete at a really high level and potentially win.
Thanks, Kamie.
Appreciate it, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. And Sam. Whenever you're ready.
Hi, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
I'm curious. Obviously, having coached so many years in the Pac-12 and now coaching this year in the WCC, what are some of the similarities or differences whether it comes to travel, schedule, level of competition? Obviously, there's going to be a lot of differences, but are there any key similarities that have stuck out to you?
Well, I haven't studied it completely. I mean, I should probably, because I really feel like in the midst of it, we've had a really hard travel schedule, and you didn't really have that in the Pac. You always traveled in partners. And so, yeah, you could go to Colorado, and it did require a flight to Utah, you know, that in between day. But a lot of times it was, you know, a bus only and simple, and you know, it just seemed very simple, and it made a lot of sense. And we really haven't had any of those easy travel partners. I think everybody that comes this way seems to get us and then Gonzaga, which is as easy as it gets, other than two really, I think, good teams. That might make it hard, but travel purposes, that just makes so much sense. And we've not had really any of those. It's been one trip, come back, you know, get ready for a game. And I think that has been a big difference. And I don't think it's a positive for this league. And I hope they'll fix that a little bit better and make that a little bit more convenient. I don't know. Maybe they don't want to make it convenient for, you know, us, you know, we don't deserve to make much of us, you know, have a point in that, but that's been harder for us for sure. The travel has been even harder, even though we pretty much commercial, always have. It's still been difficult there, but you know, the teams are different. They're not as big. Seems like a little bit, you know, not as big as some of the teams in the Pac, but you know, quality basketball, quality coaches, a lot of zone, a lot of matchups, a lot of things that are a little bit different than maybe some of the things that you saw in the Pac. But I feel very prepared for what we face on a given night because of all the quality of coaches and the things that we've seen.
And you talked about Tara kind of self-evaluating herself after the Santa Clara game. Have you seen her approach her senior season with maybe that moment as like an example of how she's handled the challenge of being the oldest one on the team?
Yeah. I just think she really, you know, I think she came in as a, you know, everybody's a pleaser and she wants to please. She wanted to be liked. Obviously, for her first 3 years here, she ran with an older group. She was best friends with, you know, most of that senior class. And so from a year ago, but she grew and she just had she had you know, she's just grown into just being super, super secure and super, just knows what our culture is about, is an example of what our culture is about. And so this year when she had to take it over, I thought I'd see someone who would be a little bit, it wouldn't be easy for her to lead. It wouldn't be easy for her to get on people. It wouldn't be easy for her to try to be that voice for the team. And quite frankly, she just took that challenge, and she's looked at these younger players and basically has had some moments where she just said, I know what I'm talking about. and this is how it needs to be, and you guys have got to fix this, and we got to get better. Like she's put herself into that position, and I respect that so much, because how hard is that as a lone senior to do, and not care if the 7 newcomers like her. Like, she's beyond that. She just knows what's needed at the time, and she's given us great guidance and leadership and motivation and consistency and self-reflection and self-evaluation and self-awareness, which I think continues to make her gain grounds on getting better and finding ways to make our team better.
After redshirting her first year, has Tara played a role in helping or after Candace redshirt her first year, I mean, has Tara played a role in helping her kind of step into a larger role, or what would you credit Candace's larger, maybe just results and her playing time this year too?
I don't know what's going on in Candace's mind, and I don't know when things switch in young players' minds. You know, they can go along and have a lot of drama in their life and think everything is attacking them, and they have it really hard, and they practice is hard, and they get down and they get tired, and you know when they're tired based on how they walk into the gym, because their face shows it. And then at some point during their career, they just don't do that anymore. And I think there's just moments in every kid's career where they grow a little bit in some area. And it could be in body language. It could be in a voice and being a big voice. It could be the consistency of, you know, showing up at practice and being what your teammates need. It could be a million things. And there are just little steps that Candace is starting to make. And because she's making those steps, her play's getting better. She's actually spending a little extra time in the gym. She's getting extra shots in. She comes early and gets some high intensity work done before practice begins. You know, and that's what you love. You love those players that start doing a little extra work and their game gets that much better on game day. And then you just go see what happens, you know, and that doesn't always happen. You know, we've had players that work, and, you know, they're just not as talented as some of these young players that we have. And Candace is a talent. She's explosive. She's got a big body. You know, she can be a big presence. She's got a big voice. She's got charisma, you know, so she's just putting the pieces together, and every piece she puts in that puzzle, she's getting a little bit better, and we're getting better because of it.
Since your last meeting with Gonzaga, have you noticed kind of an uptick in Savage mentality or just ability to rebound, or kind of where have you seen the progress in that realm?
Just for everybody, or more Candace, or everybody?
For everybody, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really obvious. I don't think anyone's shying away. I mean, we can pop in any game film and go, you're ball watching, watch them cut and get a rebound. You're ball watching, watch them get that rebound. Look, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you. Look at these 7 plays in this game where we're just standing flat-footed. I mean, and that's not mean, that's just reality. That's what we look like. And getting out rebounded and getting out hustled and being more physical, the other team being more physical, and, you know, just the inconsistency of some of those plays. I think our kids are competitive. They don't want to see themselves look like that. They want us to be better in those areas. I think it's just the growth of our team a little bit, understanding what it takes to win and what it takes to lose. Like, there's only a handful of plays. We've been in some really, really close games this year. So you can pick 4, 5, or 6 plays on any given night and go, but if, if you'd just done this, or if the other team had done this, I mean, it goes both ways. So we just want to be more consistent. Winning plays are out there every single time. On rebounding, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, and so transition defense there's winning plays and they're losing plays in that, and they're coming every single game. So there are some consistencies in our game that are absolutely happening over and over and over, and we've got to consistently be better at those things.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it. Go Cougs.